My husband wanted to open up our marriage, so I started dating his boss. Now he wants to close it. That it didn't take me long after my husband called from the police station to make my decision. I hung up my phone, sat down, and stared at myself in the mirror for a while, thinking about what I should do. I looked into the mirror, trying to see myself as my husband did, then trying to see myself as my boyfriend did. I realized my husband loved me for the things I could do for him, for the ways which I had served him during our marriage. He never loved me for my personality or my accomplishments. On the other hand, after we told each other we loved each other for the first time, my boyfriend listed the specific things he loved about my personality. My boyfriend would hold my face in his hands every time I saw him, and thank me for my time and for my existence. I started to cry when I realized my boyfriend had been giving me the love I had been searching for my entire life. He made me feel more wanted and beautiful than my husband had ever made me feel in almost 10 years of marriage. I cried harder when I realized that I was watching the death of my old life. My husband had been slipping through my fingers for so long, but I hadn't been ready to let him go until this very moment. This was an intense moment of clarity for me, and even though I knew the decision was life-changing, I decided to go visit my boyfriend in the hospital instead of bailing out my husband. When I got to the hospital and saw my boyfriend with a large bandage across his head, I cried and apologized to him for his injury being my fault. He reassured me that this was my husband's fault and there was no way either of us could have predicted he would fly off the handle like that. I immediately told him I was leaving my husband, that I could never stay with someone so violent who had hurt him like this. At this point, my boyfriend and I had been dating for about 9 months, but when I thought about leaving my husband, I thought more about my own life than my boyfriend and I's relationship. Even if I didn't feel this strongly about my boyfriend, I would have always left my husband for attacking another man and making a scene like this at his job. If I learned anything from the past year, it was that I only needed myself, and that I deserved to feel valued and cherished in any relationship. I went home with my boyfriend that night and cared for his injury. The next day, I got right to looking for divorce lawyers. I knew my husband's family would be bailing him out soon, so I returned to our house and packed all my essentials before reserving a hotel room for the next week. I ended up barely staying in the hotel room since my boyfriend insisted that I would be more comfortable at his place. I wanted to be there for him as he healed, and things just felt so right with my boyfriend, so I ended up staying at his place after leaving my husband. I never left, and the last time I spoke with my husband directly was the day he called me from the police station. He tried to contact me after getting bailed out, even blowing up my phone when he got home and found half my stuff gone. But I didn't care. His mistakes meant nothing to me now, and a month after he was arrested, he was served with divorce papers. I could not believe my ears after I learned that my ex-husband had returned to his old job to confront my boyfriend in the parking lot on the day he was served with divorce papers. Luckily, my boyfriend was able to defend himself against my unathletic ex, and he was arrested again. Apparently, the police had found a knife on him, and he had been screaming at my boyfriend for ruining his life. I was so scared for my boyfriend when I heard about this. He could have easily been seriously injured, and I thanked God for sparing him. Yet I wasn't shocked that my boyfriend had been able to defend himself against my husband. Though he is older than my husband, he is much more fit and agile. At this point, the court granted us both restraining orders against him, and all this evidence made our divorce speedy. The next thing I knew, my ex-husband was serving jail time, while I was selling out house and splitting the profit between us. Even though everything that happened was so stressful and traumatic, after a couple of months, things slowed down, and I found myself enjoying a peaceful life with my boyfriend. He welcomed me into his spacious penthouse apartment with open arms. He had told me he didn't expect me to give him all my time after my marriage had just ended, but he loved having me around and told me I never had to leave. Every day when he came home from work, he would give me a deep kiss and a tight hug and tell me how much he loved coming home to me. It's been about a year since my divorce was finalized, and I have started thinking seriously about my future with my boyfriend. He has spent every day that he's known me and treated me like a goddess, and I'm so grateful that we found each other despite everything. He has told me that he would love to make me his wife one day, but only when I'm ready. He always prioritizes my feelings, and I can't believe I accepted anything less than this true love for so long in my life.